Good morning, dear students. I, Vidyasagar, your SS teacher, welcome you all in the e-learning class of Modern International Zwa. I'm going to start subject geography of standard 7, and this is third video lecture on the topic air. Dear students, we have already discussed that what were the different layer of the atmosphere, and I hope that all you have remembered it. So next our topic is weather and climate. So about the weather, we can say the daily changes in the atmospheric situation is known as weather, but the changes at a particular area over a long period of time, that is known as climate. This is the main difference between the weather and climate. Here, if anyone want to know the day-to-day changes, then he has to just ask from someone that what is the weather today. But if he want to know about the particular climate, about the climate of particular areas, then it means he want to know that what is the climate. It means the areas that is covered with the snow, that is their climate is cold. Wherever in the equatorial zone, these areas having the hotness there. So there is the differences between the weather and climate. As we all are affected by these weathers, because a hot and scorching heat is also irritates to someone, but if we will see a pleasant weather, then we will enjoy it. So this is usually happens, that what we can say about the weather and climate. Next, the topic is about temperature. Dear students, temperature. The temperature, directly you can say the degree of hotness and coldness. Okay, the degree of hotness and coldness is known as temperature. It means our body also having the temperature, and if the particular temperature is raised, then we will come to know that we having the fever, and if the temperature is remain constant, then we will come to know that we are fine. So the temperature is also one of the major factor among the atmosphere. Like the temperature also changes not only between day and nights, but also from season to season. Yes, it is true. Like if there is summer season, then the temperature it is always high, and if there is winter, then the temperature it will decrease. This is only happens because as our earth is tilted toward one sided 23.5 degrees, and since that side wherever it getting the more sunlight, the areas, the part that will there, the temperature will increase. But those areas which are away from the sunlight, those areas will be you can say these areas will feel the less temperature. Okay, so an important factor that influence the distribution of temperature is insolation. And what is insolation? So insolation is the energy that is radiated from sun, and that is intercepted by the earth. It means directly you can say insolation, it means the direct sunlight which are being released by the sun and which are being trapped by the earth. This directly means by the insolation. And as the amount of insolation is decreased toward the poles, and that's why what it happened, that the pole that is always covered with the snow, wherever if you'll see the equatorial areas, then those areas who are getting the regular sunlight, these areas will release the more heat. This is the basic things. We will feel the differences, that what happen when the temperature is decrease and increase in a particular areas. Okay, now we can also assume that the temperature that is much higher in cities than comparison to the village. This happens because the concrete and the metals in building and the asphalts of the road gets heating during of the day, and the heat is released during the night, and the crowded places and the rise buildings of the cities, this also trap the warm, and that's why in the cities we used to feel ever more temperature in the daylight. Wherever in the village there is the low height houses, it means the thatching houses are there, and there is the greeneries. Neither, if there is no road, it is clear, but there must be greeneries, and that's why the heat is there, is always released from there, and that's why those areas always feels the less temperature. Okay, now next is about air pressure, which is important component in our atmosphere. Okay, so first, air pressure is that the pressure exerted by the weight of air on the earth's surface. It means the pressure that is exerted by the air on the earth's surface, that is known as air pressure. As we will move upward toward the atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly. Yes, this happens because you have to know that why if the atmosphere is attached to our earth, then why it is attached? It is only attached to our earth due to the gravitational forces, and due to the gravitational forces, as we will move upward, the forces, it will just decrease. Okay, and that's why the pressure is also vice versa, the pressure also used to decrease, okay, with height. So the horizontally the distribution of air that is influenced by temperature of air is given place. In areas where temperature is high, the air get heated and rises. Yeah, it means, as you can simply take the example of evaporation, those areas where the rainfall is also regular, but there is also suppose you take the example of equatorial areas, it means where the direct sunlight is there, there is always rainfall is there, but the sunlight and the scorching heat is also present there. That's why what it happens, that the amount of rainfall is there is always used to evaporate from there, and usually what happens, that the hot air, it used to moves upward as it become light. Okay, this the same condition is related with here. And now the areas having the lower temperature, there the air is cold. Okay, and that's why the high pressure is associated with clear and sunny skies, because the high pressure areas, there is usually happen that air used to be released. Okay, and the air moves from high pressure to the low pressure areas, because the low pressure areas is ever used to be vacant, वो जगह जो है वो खाली रहता है, and the high pressure areas, it always want to cover that areas, and that's why what it happen, that air always moves from the high pressure areas to the low pressure areas. Now next is about wind. Wind, that is simply the movement of air from high pressure areas to low pressure areas, is called wind. As I have told you, this only happens because this is the usual nature of the air. Where there is low pressure, those areas will cover it. Suppose I want to give you the one of the example. You are suppose you are standing on road and you see ever that a vehicle is moving fast. Okay, then what you will see there, that the air with lot of sand and dust is used to just go backside of that vehicle. Why it is happens? Because the vehicle, as the air it is filled up everywhere, but that vehicle, that clear the air on that particular areas, and from the backside the air and that area which was vacant, the air that goes fastly to fill up that areas, and that's why this phenomena used to be happen, that whenever any vehicle is passing, then what it happen, that simply all those air used to move backward to fill those areas. Okay, now sometimes when the wind blows gently, you also see that the smoke and fine dust is also blowing, and at that time whenever the strong wind is there, it's too difficult to walk against it, because the wind also has the pressure, and since if their pressure is high, then we cannot just exert our pressure on that. Okay, as you have experienced it, that sometimes you hold the umbrella windy days, and what it happened, that due to the pressure of air, the umbrella, it will go just opposite. It means the umbrella, it will blocked, or it will just change the direction. It means why it happens, because the pressure exerted by air is too much high than we are expecting, and that's why usually it used to be happen. Okay, students, read the paragraph and keep watching. Thank you.